Hi, I'm Karena Nicolls from Coutts and Conveyancers. I'm joined with Mark Ellis, who is a client of mine and has gone through the process with compensation. We thought it would be really great to sit down and have a chat now that we're nearing the end of his case, to decide, to look at, I suppose, what the journey was like and to give people a bit of an insight. So welcome, Mark.
Thanks, Karena.
Okay, so without going into too much detail, can you tell me a little bit about your accident?
So back in May of 2016, whilst working in a steel company at Ingleburn, I was involved in an incident with a forklift, side loader forklift running over my right leg, which in the end had to be amputated. And that amputation took place after 3 operations over a period of about 5 days at Liverpool Hospital.
Yeah, really, really tough. So, I mean, in terms of the accident itself, after you went through all of that process and the recovery and the treatment and, you know, the amount of surgeries that you went through, what made you come to the conclusion to bring a case?
One, I needed to know for my own benefit that my prosthesis moving into the future would be paid for by someone. And once I started to investigate what my options were, I came to the conclusion, with a little bit of help from you, that we needed to bring a case that would compensate me enough to be able to live my life and pay for prosthetics into the future.
Yeah, and boy are they expensive.
They are expensive.
And as your lawyer, what was your experience been like with the journey with myself and overall the legal process?
Yeah, well, look, I was very fortunate back in, I can't remember now, I think it was about end of 2018 to get introduced to yourself by word of mouth. That word of mouth being your husband.
Oh, he's going to take all the credit. I can see it now.
That's fine, because I'd have never known you if I hadn't spoken to him. But
yeah.
Look, and once we got together and had a discussion on what my options were, and not only at that first meeting did were you present, but you also had a couple of barristers there who certainly impressed me greatly and made me feel that I was going to be certainly well looked after from a legal representation point of view. And that's exactly the way it turned out. We had a great team who, unfortunately, we had to go through a very long process, but
yeah, I think it really is about the great team and having and you really trusting the process and understanding that the role that we play is to work within the frameworks, but also to give you and maximise your damages as much as we can.
Obviously, I'm not a legal person. I don't know all the pitfalls and the hoops that we've got to go through. And I was lucky enough that you were able to, not only myself, but Linda as well, explain those things to us. Where it might be frustrating to us, it's the system.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's really having that clear understanding and making sure that you as a client and your family understand how the process works and why it works the way that it does. We don't always agree with it.
No.
Sometimes we'd like it to be a little bit different, but it's really having that, professional relationship that you understand what your case is about and you do have some control, I think is really important.
Sure. And the other thing about it that gave me some confidence was that I had no issue in picking up the phone and ringing you and saying, what's this about, or what's that about, or what do we need to do here? And that was one of the very easy parts of the whole process.
Okay, so you obviously said before that your leg was amputated. That would have been quite challenging physically, but emotionally, how has the journey been?
Look, I've been very lucky in some respects that emotionally I think I've handled it pretty well. I've taken the attitude from day one that it is what it is. We're going to move on, and whatever changes it needs to be in my life and Linda's life. That's the way it's got to be. We can't change it. And as we've said many a time, it doesn't matter, be it physically, emotionally, legally, whatever, the bloody thing's not going to grow back.
Yeah,
So
we'd
you've
like
got
it
to-
to.
Of course, but we just have to accept that it's not going to grow back.
Yeah.
And maybe insurance companies should understand that as much as I understand it. And look, yes, it certainly has a big impact emotionally. I'm lucky, but you know, the odd morning I get up and say, oh, I've got to put this bloody thing back on again. But it's the way it is. Otherwise, if you don't put it on, you don't get very far. I'm not very good at hopping, I know that.
So you've been through quite a journey legally in terms of seeking damages for your amputation and for other emotional and physical things that also happen with the amputation. Out of that though, I suppose we need to think about the process was long, you've gone through, and maybe we can just let the viewers kind of know about, you know, the mediation journey, then you've been to court and sat through a trial. How was that experience overall in terms of the legal process?
Look, from a legal point of view, as I said before, I was very lucky I had a good team. But from a legal point of view, we started this journey obviously a number of years ago, and we got to the point, I think it was in May of 2020, where we got to the point of mediation. And I guess one of the things with mediation was, in my case, and certainly in Linda's case, we got our hopes fairly high that that may well have been the end of the legal journey. But as we now know, it wasn't the end. It was only the beginning of another journey. But there will certainly be an unwritten bond of friendship between Karena and I for the rest of our lives, because you know, this has been a huge part of my life, a huge part of Linda's life, and it's certainly life-changing. And I'm lucky enough that the person that's guided us through this from a legal point of view was Karena, and you know, we'll be friends for the rest of our life.
That's really lovely. I don't really get emotional often, but that's really
Well,
touching.
it's true. You know, you've been a big part of something that's gone for 5.5 years now.
Yeah.
And it's a life-changing thing.
Yeah, and I'm super excited for Mark and his family now that they can move forward and put the legal process behind them. And hopefully we can reach other people and encourage them to take the process no matter how hard it is, so that you can get an outcome
That's right.
like yours.
Exactly. And it's a matter of persisting and staying the course, really. And,
Very, very true.
And eventually you'll get the right outcome, and you'll get the right outcome if you've got the right people.
Well, I'm just going to leave it on that note, I think. I'll leave it on a positive note.
Of course.
Thank you so much, Mark. We really appreciate you coming in and participating in some, live chats in relation to the experience, because I think a lot of people don't quite understand, and when you go through it personally, it's something that will hopefully help others get through. So thank you so much.
No problem. Anytime.
Thanks, Mark.